On the day of the wedding photo shoot, my fiancé Ethan's first love came looking for him, and he abandoned me and left. He even found a photographer for me on the spot, telling him, just take pictures with her. We can always Photoshop me in later. I gazed at my ex-boyfriend in front of me, lost in thought. My ex-boyfriend smiled. So, shall we take them? Not only did we take the pictures, but we also got our marriage license. But regretted it. Who told you to take it seriously with him? I sat on the sofa, idly fiddling with the train of my wedding dress. Not far away, my fiancé was on the phone, his voice gentle, comforting his first love. Don't cry. You know I can't stand to see your tears. It seems after all these years, I haven't changed at all. The moment you cry, I just have to surrender. Wait for me at your apartment. I'll be right there. At this, I saw Ethan hang up the phone and walk toward me. His expression was anxious and worried. Grace, Sarah has some things I need to take care of. I'm leaving now. I stood up. What's wrong? Terminal cancer? Ethan's expression darkened slightly. Don't talk nonsense. She just caught a cold. Around us, the photo studio staff were looking over, whispering about something. I continued to look at Ethan. Oh, so you know she just caught a cold. Someone snickered. The rest of the onlookers couldn't hold back and also started laughing. Ethan glanced back, then turned to glare at me, clearly losing face. He pressed his lips together, then sneered. It's just a wedding photo shoot. It can be done anyway. With that, he turned and walked to the side, casually pulling a tall man in front of me. You take pictures with this photographer for now. We can always Photoshop me in later. He rushed off as soon as he finished speaking. He really was worried about his first love, so much so that he didn't even notice the man he dragged over. Was my first love. That face, without warning, appeared before my eyes, still as stunning as ever. I swallowed, my throat dry, unable to speak, but smiled, his captivating dark eyes gleaming with a charming allure, elegant, aristocratic, and effortlessly debonair. With a slight lift of his brow, Liam asked with a faint smile, so, the two of us are taking the photos? My reaction was a bit slow. Instead of answering, I asked, do you work here? Liam's expression was enigmatic, a faint smile gracing his lips as he softly uttered two words, just passing through. He asked again, shall we take them? I took a deep breath. Yes. Ethan went to find his first love, so it's perfectly reasonable for me to take wedding photos with my first love. Liam was quite cooperative and went to change his clothes. In front of the camera, the photographer said in an awkward and peculiar tone, relax a bit, you two. Be more intimate. I turned my head to look at Liam beside me. His lips curved slightly, and with a sweep of his long arm, he pulled me into his embrace. This intimate gesture was second nature to both of us. It was as if we'd never stopped. Where's your fiancé? Liam asked. His large hand was clasped around my waist. Seriously? He can actually discuss this with me. I subtly nudged his hand away a little, trying to keep my lips from moving, smiling sweetly. He went to find his first love. Liam looked at me affectionately. I thought, in the photos we took, we would definitely look like a loving engaged couple. The kind about to become a real married couple. Oh, just like us right now? Alright, next pose. The photographer cleared his throat. You two can be a bit more intimate. Groom, you should take the lead. I snapped back to reality and saw Liam's incredibly handsome face drawing closer, little by little. He always used to do this whenever he kissed me, his movements slow and teasing. It always made my heart flutter. My heart pounded, and I instinctively closed my eyes. Suddenly, Liam's voice whispered in my ear, are you free tonight? Hi. S voice was incredibly low and soft, yet its trailing note felt like a hook. After all these years, that charming jerk still knows how to flirt so well. Damn. With so many eyes on us, Liam had the nerve to ask me such a question, but I was too embarrassed to answer. My heart, under the double stimulation of impropriety and embarrassment, felt like it was about to burst from my chest. As I shifted pose, I tilted my head slightly and whispered in Liam's ear, I have a fiancé. Liam's soft chuckle followed, and his large hand once again encircled my waist. There, he had pressed countless times, his strength, just like him, fierce and dominating, almost making me lose my breath every single time. What on earth was I thinking, right here in public? Liam's deep, mellow voice pulled me back from my memories. Where is your fiancé now? I looked up sharply, meeting his luminous eyes. Right, where was my fiancé now? I didn't answer Liam's question. Instead, I answered his previous one. I'm free tonight. Liam seemed pleased with my answer, a dazzling smile spreading across his lips, as blinding as sunlight. He hadn't changed at all. He didn't have to do anything to attract me. The wedding photos were done. The photographer praised us, saying we took great pictures, his face alight with excitement. You two truly have amazing chemistry. Every pose, every glance, I didn't even need to direct you. Absolutely spot on. Especially the groom, the way he looks at the bride is full of intense chemistry, and the bride isn't overshadowed at all, matching him point for point. Yes, that's the feeling, so much story, so much. The photographer grew more excited as he spoke, when someone quietly reminded him, "Didn't you forget they aren't together?" The photographer looked bewildered, glancing at Liam, then at me, before realizing a second later and slapping his forehead. "Look at my memory. You two don't know each other, right?" Liam walked over. "Can I get the digital copy now?" The staff member looked a bit hesitant. "We haven't photoshopped them yet." Liam pulled out a credit card. "I can pay extra." "All right." The staff member cheerfully took the credit card and led Liam to copy the files. I went to change my clothes, then pulled out my phone. There were many missed calls and unread text messages, but none from Ethan. Good. Very good. I definitely have time tonight. Outside, it was already dark. I asked Liam, "Should we go straight to my apartment?" Liam's deep dark eyes held a faint, lingering smile, illuminated by the city's neon lights, his handsome face devastatingly charming. "Let's go to the supermarket first," he said. I paused, my thoughts galloping to a rather embarrassing place, then nodded slightly. "Let's go." There was a supermarket nearby, and we just walked there. This was my first time buying contraceptives with Liam, though he used to buy sanitary pads for me often. So I didn't back down and followed him into the supermarket. Even though I'd never bought them before, I knew those things were usually near the checkout. As walked further inside, I pulled him back, pointing to the small boxes and reminding him, "They're over here." Liam turned to look at me, then at where I was pointing, and his expression paused. My confidence shattered. "Don't tell me I misunderstood." Liam smiled silently. "Don't rush. Let's get groceries first." Then he took my hand and walked in. Good heavens, I was so mortified, I nearly stumbled. Liam, pulling me with one hand and pushing the shopping cart with the other, arrived at the produce section. "What do you want to eat?" I just wanted to say goodbye to him and leave. "Whatever. It's snowing outside. How about a hearty stew?" Liam suggested, releasing my hand and starting to put boxes of fresh vegetables into the cart. Next were seafood, thinly sliced beef, and lamb, all my favorites. When he was almost done, he asked me, "Anything else you want to buy?" I shook my head. Liam paused for a moment. "Do you have any spare toiletries at your place?" I swallowed. "Yes. Let's go." Liam took my hand again, as naturally as he used to before we broke up. When we got to the checkout, he picked up 2 boxes of contraceptives and placed them with the other items. My cheeks suddenly grew hot. Liam entered my kitchen, not surprised to see the brand new kitchen appliances. I don't cook at home, I don't know how. He didn't ask me where anything was, assuming I probably wouldn't know even if he did. He had already bought the seasonings and everything, so he took out the ingredients and started preparing. I, the hostess, was simply sitting on the sofa, waiting for dinner. Ethan still hadn't contacted me. When came out and saw me staring at my phone, he let out a cold laugh. "Waiting for your fiancé's call?" "No." I put down my phone and turned my head to meet his gaze. "I'm afraid he'll contact me." This was the truth. With things having come to this point, the future was very clear. I didn't want to get tangled up with Ethan. Liam curved his lips, his voice soft. "Wash your hands. Dinner's ready." The steam from the hearty stew rose between us, and as I looked at him through the white mist, I felt a strange excitement. "When did you get back?" I asked. Liam placed a blanched mushroom into my bowl and said casually, "About a week ago." "Oh." I picked up the mushroom, and Liam's voice reminded me, "Hot." My gaze fell on the mushroom. "Were you really just passing by that photo studio today?" "Liam, no." My heart pounded faster. This feeling was both strange and familiar. Only when I was with Liam did my heart beat so vibrantly and intensely. "Then, how did you end up going in?" Liam's tone remained languid. "I saw you go in." This answer was what I expected, yet it made my heart swell even more. I looked up at him. "Liam, do you still like me?" Liam stood up, put a piece of cooked beef in my bowl, and as he leaned closest to me, I heard him say, "When did I ever stop liking you?" Liam and I were university classmates. As soon as he started university, he was already a prominent figure, simply because of his stunning face. I, a sucker for good looks, fell for him at first sight. But he pursued me first. Like all first loves, it was beautiful and fervent. We deeply loved each other, a passion so intense that decades later, just thinking about it would still make my heart warm. But we didn't just love each other, we also clashed fiercely. Scholarships, the position of student body president, competition rankings. He would never yield to me, and I would never yield to him. We competed from university right into the professional world. Perhaps because we both had high standards, and they were surprisingly identical, we always ended up eyeing the same project. We kept competing, and eventually, we competed our way into a breakup. I was the one who initiated the breakup. During that time, I was under immense pressure. My parents both hoped I could achieve something significant and eventually take over the family business. But my cousin's abilities were also excellent. He was 5 years older than me and had much more experience, so I was naturally at a disadvantage compared to him. And that one project I had set my sights on was snatched away by Liam. The position of company vice president thus fell into my cousin's hands. That was the first time I lost my temper with Liam because of competition. I demanded, "Are you still my boyfriend or not?" Liam didn't back down. "Grace, if I were to let you win, it would be an insult to you." I took a deep breath, closed my eyes. "I'm tired, Liam. Let's break up." Liam, of course, disagreed. After a few more arguments, I yelled at him to leave. He really did leave, moving abroad. Now there was no one to compete with me. And at this time Ethan returned to the country. Ethan and I had known each other since childhood, we were childhood sweethearts. I knew all about his relationship story with Sarah. They had been together since high school and went abroad together after graduating. In short, after so many years of love-hate entanglement, Sarah broke up with Ethan when he chose to return. The and Miller families initiated a close collaboration, and so, Ethan and I agreed to an arranged marriage. I don't know why Ethan agreed to marry me, but I knew that since I had lost the vice president position, I would strive for the president's position. Marrying gave me an extra edge in the competition. A year ago, the Vance and Miller families officially announced the news of my arranged marriage with Ethan, and both companies' stock prices indeed surged. Today's wedding photo shoot was also public knowledge. I thought, if I hadn't seen Ethan answering Sarah's call, we would have gotten our marriage license tomorrow. But he went to find Sarah and still hasn't contacted me. I assume he's still with Sarah right now. A man and a woman alone together, especially exes, what would happen was self-evident. What would happen between Liam and me tonight was also self-evident. After dinner, Liam was washing dishes in the kitchen. Thinking I should rekindle the relationship that had been broken for a year, I followed him in. "I'll help you." "Liam, no need." I stood silently to the side. Liam suddenly called my name. "Grace." It was the first time he had called my name since we reunited. My heart skipped a beat, and I quickly responded, "What is it?" Liam, still seriously washing dishes, said with a resonant, low voice, "Break off your engagement with him." That him naturally referred to Ethan. I pouted. "You don't need to tell me that. Ethan and Sarah have probably been rolling around for who knows how many rounds by now. If I still married him, that would be disgusting. Even for an arranged marriage, I'd want someone clean." "Oh." Liam turned his head to look at me, a hint of teasing mixed with the smile in his eyes. "I thought you liked him." That sounded a bit louse. I rolled my eyes. "So you came back because you knew I was going to take wedding photos with him?" Liam admitted openly, "That's right. I knew it." Charming jerk. "Then you must have seen the news about my arranged marriage with Ethan a year ago. Why didn't you come back to stop it?" He put down the bowl in his hand, turned to look at me, his eyes serious. "If I had come back then, would you have called off the marriage?" I shook my head. "No." At that time, I was furious. I have a stubborn streak, and I thought, since we broke up, that's how it would be for the rest of my life. I was determined when I agreed to marry Ethan. If he had come back to stop the marriage, given my personality, I would have just made things worse between us. Liam knew me well. He continued washing dishes. I walked over. "Then weren't you afraid I'd get involved with Ethan over the past year?" Liam's hands paused, then resumed the next second. "I hadn't thought about that." I thought the charming jerk was quite generous. But he suddenly put down the bowl and looked at me again. "But I'm thinking about it now." He walked up to me. "Did anything happen?" "No," I replied. "Ethan didn't like me. I didn't like Ethan either. What could have happened?" Liam's eyes were like the dark sky outside. He extended his long arm and pulled me tightly into his embrace. When I opened my eyes the next morning, Liam was lying beside me, staring at his phone screen. Suddenly, I felt, how wonderful, this isn't a dream. I sat up and leaned closer. What are you doing? I saw our wedding photos from yesterday on Liam's phone screen. During the most passionate years of my relationship with Liam, I had thought about marrying him. Back then, I never imagined that Liam's and my wedding photos would be taken under such circumstances. What's so great about them? I reached out and pressed down on his phone. Liam turned his head to look at me. They're very beautiful. What's beautiful about them? I threw back tea. He covers, got out of bed, and turned to look down at Liam sitting on the bed. They still need to be photoshopped. Liam clenched his jaw, a faint hint of fierce determination appearing between his handsome brows. Didn't you get enough of a lesson last night? My cheeks flushed hot. I shot him a fierce glare, clutched my waist, and headed to the bathroom. Liam's laughter, arrogant and triumphant, came from behind me. He was always like this when he won against me. Whether at university or in the business world, Liam and I were always evenly matched. But in this matter, I was no match for him, always forced to watch him gloat, and it drove me crazy. I reached the bathroom door, but couldn't resist turning back to glare at him and make a threat. Just you wait, one day I'm going to get you back. Liam casually threw back the covers, spread his arms, a slight arch in his brow. He looked like a charming devil. Come on. I finished washing up and getting dressed. When I came out, Liam had already prepared breakfast. 2 bowls of vegetable noodles. I lowered my head to eat my noodles, and Liam told me, "Don't forget to break off the engagement with that man." I replied. After breakfast, I went straight to the company to find my parents. This was a company my dad owned, also under Vance. In the CEO's office, after my parents heard me out, their faces were extremely grim. My mom asked me, "What do you plan to do?" Hearing this, my dad also looked up at me. I didn't hesitate for a moment. Break off the engagement. No. Not break off the engagement, but rather, we're formally breaking off the engagement. I wasn't going to give Ethan an easy out. Break off the engagement? After he pulled such a disgusting stunt, why should I help him save face? My mom nodded with satisfaction, her gaze full of approval. That's my daughter. Yes, we'll break off the engagement. My dad gave my mom a helpless look, shaking his head with a smile. Our daughter's personality. Why is exactly like yours? Of course. I want to be like my mom, create my own wealth and success, instead of needing any arranged marriage. I'd made up my mind, relying on myself was better than relying on anyone else. All right, you two are the wealthy families, you don't need me, my dad grumbled, clearly a bit jealous. My mom could just go ahead and coax him. My parents and I finished planning to go to the Miller family to break off the engagement tomorrow, and then I got busy with work. It wasn't until past 8 in the evening that I returned to my apartment. Stepping out of the elevator, I unexpectedly saw Liam at the door. I quickly walked over. Why didn't you go in? Liam leaned casually against the wall, arms crossed, his eyes slightly upturned. I don't have the password, and my fingerprint isn't registered. How could I get in? He could be so sarcastic sometimes. I took his hand and went to register his fingerprint, then told him the password. From now on, you can just go straight in. Liam suddenly pulled me into his embrace, and as his hot kiss descended, he pressed me against the door. Did he have to be so impatient? I wrapped my arms around his neck and kissed him back. Only at this moment did I truly realize how much I had missed Liam during the year we were apart. Perhaps we would still clash head to head, still argue back and forth, but I would never leave him again. Grace. I faintly heard someone call my name, but Liam's breathing filled my ears, making it indistinct. I thought it was an illusion. Liam suddenly released my lips, pressing me forcefully into his embrace with his large hand. I looked up, then followed his gaze. Ethan's furious face came into view. He exploded like a bomb, charging over. Liam released me and stepped forward to meet him. I swung his fist at him, Liam's large hand tightly clasped Ethan's wrist, while his other hand struck Ethan's face with lightning speed. The force was so great that Ethan directly fell to the ground. He scrambled up like a madman and lunged at Liam again, cursing angrily. You damn son of a bitch. How dare you touch my woman, I'll kill you. Liam immediately kicked him back to the ground. Liam's foot was on Ethan's stomach, his low, cold voice carrying an undeniable authority. Grace isn't yours. Ethan spat out some blood, clumsily wiping his mouth, and glared at me fiercely. Grace, you damn cheat, sleeping around behind my back. Before he could finish speaking, he cried out in pain again because Liam pressed down on his stomach with brutal force. You know perfectly well what you've done. Clean up your language. Liam withdrew his foot, turned, took my hand, unlocked the door with the freshly registered fingerprint, led me inside, and closed the door. Urgent knocking sounded at the door. I was annoyed and wanted to go out and send him away, but Liam cupped my face. Focus on me. I don't know when the knocking stopped. After a year apart, Liam's attraction to me was simply too strong. It was only when we ate dinner that I realized Ethan had left at some point. I didn't want to see him again, but I'd have to for the engagement breakup. But my parents told me they would handle it. After the engagement was broken off, my mom called to tell me it was done, and we just needed to find the right time to release the news. My mom also said, even though I don't think much of Ethan either, we can't completely sever ties with the Miller family. We still need to maintain appearances. I understood. You shouldn't easily make enemies. Mom, I know. Tell I'm fine, and I'm actually doing great right now. My mom laughed, her voice full of pride. I know you're doing great. My daughter is dedicated to her career, and I'm very proud. I felt a pang of guilt and kept quiet. Actually, it wasn't just because I was dedicated to my career that I didn't care about Ethan's disgraceful behavior. Of course, I genuinely didn't care about him, but the most important thing now was that Liam was back with me, and I was quite eager to indulge him a bit recently. My mom's voice came again. But don't have your head full of just work. Eat, play, and date when you should. Life isn't just about work. Don't worry about that, I definitely won't not date, I promised. My mom was silent for a moment. Do you have someone in mind? I cleared my throat. Mom, I need to go. Bye. I quickly hung up the phone. My waist suddenly tightened. Someone hugged me from behind, and the charmer clung to me, showering my neck with tiny, eager kisses. Is the engagement breakup all sorted? I was ticklish, so I shrugged my shoulders, trying to escape his teasing kisses, and deliberately teased him, no. Liam's lips, resting on my shoulder, paused slightly, then unexpectedly bit me. His large hand then slid under my clothes. I pressed down on his hand, turned, and pulled him towards the sofa. With a gentle push, Liam cooperated, sitting obediently and waiting for me. I loved how cooperative he was. But my phone was not cooperative at all. Just as I was about to get him back, it rang. It was Ethan calling. He actually wanted to see me again. Liam's large hands clamped around my waist like iron tongs. Don't go. I'll go see him one last time. I cupped Liam's face and kissed his lips. I still have something to do. Ethan dared to humiliate me like that. If hadn't shown up at the photo studio that day, was he just going to find anyone to take wedding photos with me? I couldn't swallow this insult. And I didn't want to. Ethan arranged to meet me at a coffee shop. It wasn't very crowded, very quiet, definitely a place for serious talks. He immediately started, "What's with that man? Grace, we've been together for a year, and I haven't even touched your hand, but you were happily making out with him. Don't forget, we're supposed to be engaged?" Ethan pursed his lips and nodded to himself. I admit I shouldn't have left you during the wedding photo shoot, and I shouldn't have gone to Sarah. But, you know how deep Sarah's and my feelings were. Now that she's come back to me, how can I not help her? At this point, Ethan sighed. Sarah is pregnant. The question marks above my head multiplied, and then I heard him say, "The baby isn't mine." I asked him from the bottom of my heart, "Huh?" Ethan looked up at me. "But don't worry, the position of Mrs. Miller is yours. No one can replace you. It's just that I can't abandon Sarah. She's alone, pregnant, and she only has me now." He paused, his breath deepened, and he looked at me seriously. "As for you and that man, it was just once. I can let it go, but don't let it happen again." He suddenly asked me, "That man, he's the one I just pulled randomly to take pictures with you at the photo studio that day, right? I remember now. You're just getting back at me." I admit I also have issues. I couldn't listen anymore and interrupted him. "Didn't your parents tell you?" "Oh, that's a rhetorical question." Sure enough, Ethan paused for a moment. "Tell me what?" I sat up slightly. "Since your parents didn't tell you, then I'll be the one to inform you. Ethan, I won't be marrying you." Ethan narrowed his eyes slightly. "What do you mean?" I smiled. "It means I don't want your sloppy seconds." Ethan suddenly stood up. "Who are you calling sloppy seconds?" This immediately drew the attention of others. He sat down, lowering his voice. "Grace, you know perfectly well the nature of our engagement. Don't throw a childish tantrum. Also, I won't marry Sarah. Ethan, will absolutely not marry a divorced woman. As for her and me, I did sleep with her, but didn't you sleep with that photographer too? Let's call us even." I stood up, picked up my bag, and walked over to Ethan. Ethan thought I was going to give in, so he lifted his chin slightly. Grace, do you know why I came to see you? I asked him, a smile playing on my lips. Ethan also smiled. Grace, we grew up together. You. D always been someone who considers the bigger picture, I know that, and I admire that most about you. The one fit to be Mrs. Miller, it has to be you. No. I smiled faintly. I came to see you because I have something for you. Before could ask what it was, I couldn't wait and slapped him across the face. Excellent, everyone else's attention was on us again. Ethan's face alternated between red and white, staring at me in disbelief. Ethan, what you did to humiliate me at the photo studio, that's it. If you ever dare to come back and disgust me again, I won't care about our childhood acquaintance. Ethan, whether dazed from the slap or frightened, only caught up to me after I had walked out of the coffee shop, grabbing my wrist tightly. Grace. Get lost. I shook his hand off and got into the car parked nearby. Liam started the engine. Is everything sorted? I nodded. Liam held my wrist, his thumb gently stroking it. So, can I go meet your parents now? He dropped his usual casual demeanor, his expression becoming serious and earnest. I've wanted to meet them for a long time. I knew what he meant. If I hadn't lost out to Liam on that project a year ago, and consequently lost the vice position at Vance, we probably would have already met each other's parents by now. I still had some concerns. Do you think we'll still break up on an impulse in the future? I won't, Liam replied clearly and firmly. He was calling me out. He enveloped my hand in his large one, giving it a gentle squeeze. I know what you're worried about. Sometimes I did wonder if I should just let you win and not compete with you. I thought about that every day after we broke up. Grace, I can yield to you. I'm willing to yield to you for a lifetime. But I'm not the only one in this world. My yielding wouldn't help you one bit. I nodded. I know. When I broke up with him, I wasn't blaming him for not letting me win. I was just upset about losing to my cousin and took it out on him. I admit it was my fault. Liam, I'll never casually say let's break up to you again. Well, it's certainly not easy to hear you say that, Liam teased. My parents hadn't known I was in a relationship before, much less that Liam existed. At the time, my feelings were complicated. I always thought I'd wait until I completely won against Liam before bringing him home. Only a year had passed, and looking back at my former competitiveness now, it seemed ridiculous. My parents were naturally very pleased with Liam, and they arranged a time to have dinner with Liam's parents to finalize our wedding. When it was just Liam and me, I couldn't help but sigh. If I had known, we should have just had an arranged marriage. If my grandfather was happy, he might have even given me the vice position. Thinking about this, I got a little excited. Do you think my grandfather might just make me CEO? Liam shot me a playful glare. What nonsense are you talking about? Are you marrying me or arranging a marriage with me? I pouted. Oops, I misspoke. We're not an arranged marriage, this is a power couple. Liam ruffled my hair. I'll draw a bath. Want to soak together? I abruptly stood up. No. I still have things to finish. Can I borrow your laptop? Liam. I slipped into his study. I definitely wasn't going to take a bath with him. I knew the password to Liam's laptop. It was still my name and Pinyin followed by his birthday. In the past few months, I had my eye on another project, one I originally planned to do with Ethan, but now I intended to take it for myself. I wasn't deliberately snooping on Liam's laptop, but when I saw a folder named after me with a date, I couldn't help but click it open. Inside the folder were some photos of me from the past year, and also Ethan's files? Even when Ethan and Sarah first reconnected, and how many times they had contacted each other over the past year, he had all of it. He also knew when Sarah had returned. I remembered Liam telling me that his return date and Sarah's return date overlapped. I thought Liam was very patient, but it turned out he had been fully aware of my situation all along. It was just that at the time, Ethan and I had only announced our arranged marriage, with no major developments, so he hadn't shown himself. Liam walked in and saw me looking at those files and photos, showing no embarrassment at all about being caught red-handed. I cast a sidelong glance at him. If and I had gotten married, would you have come back to stop the wedding? Liam cleared his throat, then the next second, he spoke righteously, that is no good. What's wrong with me stopping the wedding? I waved my hand. You go out. I have work to do. I'm determined to get this project. I originally thought Ethan would keep clinging to Sarah for a while longer, but it turned out he had also been eyeing this project. I had underestimated his ambition. The next time we met was at a business gala. Ethan walked over, accompanied by Sarah. Both of them were utterly transparent, their thoughts were written all over their faces. Ethan wore an expression that screamed, "You didn't appreciate me, and now I have other women by my side. It's too late for you to regret it." Sarah, on the other hand, looked at me with eyes that said, "I gave you a year, but you couldn't seal the deal. Ethan is still mine." Why was fate doing this to me, making me run into two idiots at once? In a setting like this, if I burst out laughing, I would only appear to lack composure. I pressed my lips together, suppressing a smile, as the two of them approached me. Ethan glanced at both sides of me, then scoffed. "Just you? Where's your lover?" Before I could speak, he answered himself, "Oh, I forgot he's just a photographer. How could someone like him get into an event like this?" Ethan released Sarah's arm, walked over to me, and leaned in close, lowering his voice. "Do you regret breaking off our engagement for a photographer? Now? Grace, I can give you another chance. Just give in to me, and the title of Mrs. Ethan can still be yours." I immediately turned to Sarah and said, "He says if I just give in to him, the title of Mrs. Ethan will still be mine." Ethan's face went completely green. Sarah's expression was absolutely priceless. "What are you talking about?" Ethan went back to Sarah's side. "Don't listen to her nonsense." Sarah clearly couldn't keep up appearances, but she stubbornly clung on, affectionately linking her arm with Ethan's. However, when I went to the restroom, she rushed over to warn me to stay away from Ethan. I scoffed. "By what authority are you warning me? As the other woman?" When she and Ethan got back together, Ethan and I were still engaged. Sarah lifted her chin slightly. "Ethan has always loved me from the start. The unloved one is the real other woman." I had nothing to say. With values and perspective like that, she had pretty much said goodbye to normal human reasoning. She and Ethan really were a perfect match. "Sarah, if Ethan truly loved you, why did he leave you alone and return to the country back then?" Sarah gritted her teeth, glaring at me defiantly. "If you want to keep deceiving yourself." I shrugged. "It has nothing to do with me anyway. I'd actually be thrilled to watch you and Ethan get tangled up together and end up with absolutely nothing. After all, I just love watching drama. However, I'll kindly remind you that the man who claims he's always loved only you told me personally that he would absolutely never marry a divorced woman. You should seriously think about what to do next." I reapplied my lipstick and left. Liam usually didn't attend events like this. Everyone said that Liam, the Hayes' heir, was low-key and mysterious, and the rumors about him in their circles had grown even wilder, especially during the year Liam spent abroad. They said he had relinquished his position as the Hayes' successor to personally expand into overseas markets, and that his vision and capabilities were unparalleled among his peers. The family, it seemed, had a worthy successor. But there were also other whispers, claiming that Liam had actually gone abroad to recover from a deep heartbreak caused by his first love. In any case, even though Liam wasn't appearing in their circles, legends about him were everywhere. At tonight's gala, Liam's name was brought up again, with everyone eager to connect with this new generation's standout and secure collaborations. Who exactly is Mr. Liam's first love? When I returned to the banquet hall, I overheard Ethan discussing Liam and his first love with someone. The other person chuckled. "So, Ethan, you're also hoping to collaborate with Mr. Liam?" Ethan simply smiled without a word. The other person nodded knowingly. I seemed to have overheard some incredible news. Ethan wanted to collaborate with Liam? He had just gotten into a fight with the man. Mr. Liam must be absolutely sick of him. The gala ended, and after I bid farewell to several other important figures and prepared to get into my car, Ethan followed me. Sarah wasn't with him. "Grace," Ethan walked over, "I know you've been eyeing the Yukon project recently. As you know, I'm also very interested in it." I thought he was going to audaciously propose we continue working together, but instead, he said, "I can let you have this project, and we can continue our engagement. What do you say?" I looked past him to Sarah, who had just emerged. She saw Ethan and me but didn't approach, standing silently at the hotel entrance, looking thoughtful. I averted my gaze, and before I could reply, Liam's voice drifted over. "Ready, darling?" Ethan's face showed a hint of annoyance when he saw Liam, but then he scoffed upon seeing Liam's car. "Grace, a man who even needs you to buy him a car, I really don't know what you see in him. Think carefully about what I just said." He took a slight step forward. "Oh, by the way, I have something else to tell you. Liam from the Hayes family is back. You didn't know that, did you? I glanced back at Liam. Not only did I know, but I'd already slept with him. Ethan wore a look of triumph. "I'm about to finalize a collaboration with Liam. With corporation backing me up, Grace, you should know who can bring you greater benefits, me, or this photographer." He chuckled again. Of course, I'm certainly not as good at photography as he is. I'll give you one more week to think it over. Ethan gave me an inscrutable look and walked away. I turned, standing silently opposite Liam. Once we were in the car, Liam finally asked, "Where did your parents find such an idiot to arrange a marriage with you?" I felt insulted. A week later, Ethan asked to meet me again. I knew perfectly well that I shouldn't see him and waste my time, but I just couldn't resist. In my busy life, having an idiot pop up occasionally for a rare diversion was quite special. This time, Ethan arranged to meet me at a winery. As soon as I sat down, he poured me a glass of red wine. "Try it, I brewed this myself." I looked at him, smiling. "Oh, wow, you're amazing." Ethan's face flushed, and after a moment of feigned innocence, he became utterly self-important. "Grace, have you made up your mind?" I lightly traced the rim of my glass. "You didn't do anything all week? Just waiting for news from me?" Ethan looked at me intently. "Of course." "No wonder," I nodded. Ethan paused. "No wonder what?" "I secured the Yukuan project," I said, with feigned gratitude. "If you hadn't done absolutely nothing this past week, leaving me one less competitor, I probably wouldn't have landed the project so quickly." Ethan opened his mouth, but I didn't give him a chance to speak. "Because of your inaction, you saved me a few minutes, so I still have to thank you." Ethan wasn't stupid, of course, he understood that it would only take me a few minutes to defeat him. His brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" I tilted my head and smiled at him. "It means you're not fit to be my opponent, doesn't it?" Ethan stood up. "I'm asking you, you're not planning to continue our arranged marriage, are you?" I put on that feigned adoring expression again. "Oh, wow, you're so smart. Grace, you played me!" Ethan exclaimed, furious and embarrassed. But he quickly reverted to his usual presumptuous self. "It's just Yukuan, do you really think I care?" "Grace, I had originally intended not to hold this against you, considering we grew up together, but you brought this upon yourself." He issued a threat and strode away. Being entertained by that idiot actually made my recent fatigue completely vanish. I had been eyeing the Yukuan project for a long time, even drafting several versions of the proposal, and had finally signed the contract the day before yesterday, after defeating several competing companies. Securing a major project and having drama to watch, life really was wonderful. I went to find Liam, planning to celebrate with him. His parents were there too, which I hadn't expected. It turned out they were there to show their support for Liam formally taking over as CEO of Hayes. Liam's mother took my hand. "This boy taking over as CEO before marrying you makes him worthy of you, at least." The internal struggles within the Hayes family were just like those in all wealthy families and elite social circles. I just hadn't expected Liam to return after a year abroad and immediately take over as CEO of Hayes. His trip abroad certainly wasn't as simple as just grieving over our breakup. Sure enough, after Liam's parents left, he confessed to me. "My main reason for going abroad truly was for the company's development. It just so happened that you wanted to break up with me at that very time, and I couldn't be in two places at once, so I had to go abroad first." He cleared his throat, lowered his head, and looked at me with pleading, pathetic eyes. "But I didn't want to break up with you, so I I'd only secretly investigate your fiancé." I rolled my eyes. "So, that whole story about you going abroad because you were deeply hurt by your first love, you spread that rumor too?" Liam nodded cautiously. "Yes, it was for you to hear." He even had an excuse. "Well, you blocked me, so I couldn't just have no news for an entire year, could I? What if you forgot about me?" I wasn't about to let that slide. I had to tease him about it, or I wouldn't feel right. "I understand. To you, the CEO position is more important than me." Liam looked at me with an insightful gaze. "If I couldn't even secure the CEO position, would you still marry me? I know you, don't I? You have high standards for a partner, handsome, good physique, low-key and mysterious, also a good cook, and highly capable. If I lost to my brothers, you definitely wouldn't be interested in me." As he spoke, he started sounding aggrieved again. But why did I feel like he was actually bragging? I remembered when Liam and I first started dating, I had said my ideal type was a domineering CEO from a novel, perfect in every way. My future husband would also have to be like that to be worthy of me. He had indeed held himself to that standard. Now, it was my turn to feel awkward. That was just something I said casually back then. I was young and loved to fantasize. Liam straightened his tall frame. "Oh, so does that mean I don't have to be aloof anymore?" "Of course not. You're not an immortal." Liam suddenly leaned into my ear. "So, can I go to the bathroom in front of you now?" Get lost. Liam took me to celebrate my securing the Yukuan project. Unexpectedly, we ran into Ethan at the company entrance. He was earnestly telling the front desk staff, if Liam could just give me 10 minutes, please, let me go in and see him. I pulled Liam forward. Ethan? Ethan was surprised to see Liam and me. Grace? You're here to see Mr. Liam too? Are you deliberately trying to go against me? He then scrutinized Lee. Am from head to toe. You're a grown man. Do you feel proud of being a woman's accessory? I advise you to get out of here quickly. This isn't a place for someone like you. No sooner had he finished speaking than someone approached and bowed deeply to Liam. CEO, I'll escort him out right away. Ethan's scornful expression froze. He stood there dumbfounded, staring blankly at Liam. After a long moment, he finally managed to utter, CEO? You're. The person beside him spoke up. This is our newly appointed CEO of Hayes, Mr. Liam. Ethan's eyes widened. You're Liam? His face instantly turned ashen, and he gulped several times. You. How can you be Liam? You too. He looked at me in disbelief. Didn't he get hurt by his first love? Grace, when did you two get together? Liam pulled me into his arms. Allow me to introduce you. This is my first love, Grace. And, he added, his voice full of pride, I am also Grace's first love. Before could even react, he was dragged out. Mr. Liam, let me explain. Grace, help me out here. We're childhood sweethearts who grew up together. Liam muttered a curse. I wasn't even that mad until he brought that up. What's so special about being childhood sweethearts? Seeing me still watching the direction Ethan was being pulled, he nudged me with his shoulder. Still looking? Is it that entertaining? I nodded. It is. Having a brainless idiot become part of our game is quite amusing. Liam scoffed. What's so amusing about it? He wasn't acting like a domineering CEO from a novel anymore. He was starting to let himself loose. Once in the car, Liam suddenly leaned close, looking at me seriously. Grace, I want to tell you something. I nodded. Go ahead. I'm actually not a domineering CEO at all, and I'm not cool either. Will you still like me? His eyes were full of anticipation. I pressed my lips together, suppressing a smile. Yes, I will. I will. Then. He cleared his throat and tentatively asked, if I'm a bit love-struck. Will you still like me? I was about to burst out laughing and bit my lower lip, nodding. Yes. Liam breathed a sigh of relief and hugged me tightly. You're so wonderful. I suddenly felt like I didn't quite know him anymore. But isn't this better, more exciting? When found me again, he looked much more dejected, completely devoid of his usual arrogance and superiority. Grace, please put in a good word for me with Mr. Liam. Everyone in our circles knows I've offended him, and no one is willing to work with me anymore. Even my own family is giving up on me. I'm truly at my wit's end. He continued to play the sympathy card. We grew up together, after all. Please help me, okay? I'm begging you. I shook my head. No. He humiliated me so badly in the photo studio back then, and he still expects me to speak up for him? Am I some kind of doormat? Don't contact me again. I don't want to see you. I stood up and left. Ethan indeed didn't come looking for me again. But one day, I still saw him. He was arguing with Sarah on the street. I gave you so much money, and I bought you a house. Now you won't even sell the house to help me? Sarah clutched her hands over her stomach. Those things were gifts from you. Besides, didn't you go around telling everyone you'd never take used goods? So why are you begging me, these used goods, now? Ethan, I won't help you. I have no feelings for you whatsoever now. I regret ever liking you. Just looking at you makes me sick. Get lost. Sarah pushed Ethan away and quickly left. She looked up and saw me. Lifting her chin, she walked over to me. Ms. Grace, thank you for your previous reminder. I have money now, and a child on the way. I'm living quite comfortably. As for Ethan, you can have him back if you want. I certainly don't. I pursed my lips. If you don't want him, then neither do I. Sarah. Sarah went abroad again. She sold the house and, with the money Ethan had given her, she had enough to live comfortably overseas with her child for the rest of her life. I neither approved nor disapproved of her actions. It had nothing to do with me anyway. Because had been harassing me earlier, Liam directly leaked evidence that Ethan was still engaged to me while being involved in scandalous behavior with his ex. Miller stock price plummeted, and they immediately announced that Ethan was no longer associated with the company. Ethan was now a despised pest, hated by everyone. What happened to him after that was his own business. Liam began preparing for our wedding. A week before we legalized our marriage, he gave me an agreement and transferred all his assets to my name. Though I wasn't entirely surprised, I couldn't help but ask him, "Why did you give it all to me?" Liam's handsome face was full of calm confidence. "It's all for you, isn't that what you like? I'll give you anything you want from now on. Didn't I tell you I'm a bit love-struck?" My eye twitched, and I let out a dry, forced chuckle. This was hardly a bit. "What are you doing?" Liam suddenly became defensive. "You said you'd still like me even if I'm a bit love-struck. You have to keep your word. If you really like to compete, then we'll just go back to how things were before. I won't go easy on you, you can rest assured about that. The only thing is, whatever I win will still eventually be yours. Doesn't that make it less fun and exciting? Grace, will you think I'm boring?" I shook my head. No. I couldn't help but hug him and pat his head. This guy was so overly self-deprecating that I actually felt a bit sorry for him. "Darling, let's be more confident, okay? I'll like you no matter what." Liam instantly straightened his back. He had his swagger back. On the day Liam and I got married, my grandfather gave me the CEO position at Vance. It was because I had handled the Yukuan project exceptionally well. Alright, I also knew it had a little something to do with Liam and me getting married. I wanted to rely on myself. But my husband was just too capable, that was beyond my control. My capable husband suddenly whispered in my ear, "I want to cry, what should I do?" I turned my head, helpless yet wanting to laugh. "Then go ahead and cry." Liam's eyes instantly welled up, and he hugged me tightly. "Honey, my dream has finally come true." I laughed in his arms. "What's your dream?" Liam pressed a soft kiss to the top of my head. "My dream is to be Grace's steadfast devotee,